Hey, I heart you.
I heard you too.
And I want you to know that we have a great show. Kevin Brown, A.K.A. from 30 Rock, is here. He came here. He's going to sit down for an interview and do stand-up as well. You're going to love both aspects. Speaking of two aspects, what if you had chocolate as well as a waffle cone in a triangle put together? You'd have cone chips and you would be happy. Check out this commercial.
We're eating cone chips.
Right.
They're eating cone chips.
Hey, you're eating cone chips. The kid's eating cone chips.
Everyone's eating cone chips now.
Everyone has cone chips. Who did you tell?
The internet.
Oh, good call.
Yes. All right, hey, there's Dave over there again. Dave, you are so good looking you don't need to talk. All right, let's do things I've noticed.
These things I've noticed. These things I've noticed, yeah. These things I've noticed. These things I've noticed, yeah. These things I've noticed. These things I've noticed, yeah.
All right. These are things I've noticed, things I've observed, things I'm going to say to you now. I've noticed that I'm very indecisive, and I'm not sure what to do about that. I've noticed that the Playboy Mansion, I've noticed that the Playboy Mansion is for sale. The house is 89 years old, but everything inside is no older than 25. I've noticed that people post on Facebook about how society uses Facebook too much. I've noticed that there's a Toms group here on campus, and sometimes they give out free Toms, which probably means that a kid in Nicaragua has to get charged for his pair. Oh, it's not actually happening. And finally, I've noticed that my boundary issues are really affecting my art. I don't know where to draw the line. Things I've noticed.
These things I've noticed. These things I've noticed, yeah.
Hey, this fall, we went into our first secondary market for the Mystery Hour, and we are in Joplin, Pittsburgh, four-state area, and we're so happy to be there. And we're, yeah. We love you. And we were checking out other local programming in the area, and we came across one that is, it's like a crime drama, soap opera, crime sort of thing, but it seems like it's sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce or something, because it's promoting like local businesses. Anyway, here's a clip.
Stop!
All right, you got me.
Check his pockets.
Yep, it's just as we suspected. He's been stealing money from the cash register at Claw Paw's pet store.
That's a beloved Pittsburgh institution. I'm glad we caught you so owner-proprietor Michael Hodgins can keep supplying quality yet inexpensive pet supplies for our beloved furry friend.
You know, I've never seen you around here, kid. You from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, sure, I'm from Pittsburgh.
Wait. Say that again.
Pittsburgh.
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 You know, there's no H at the end of Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and I'm hearing an H from you.
By the benevolent but firm hand of City Clerk Tammy Nagel, I can't allow this lying. Where did you come from, and why did we have to chase you down the well-maintained city streets of Pittsburgh?
All right, I'm from Fort Scott, Kansas, and I'm here to wreak havoc on Pittsburgh. We don't have an aquatic center like yours, a a slightly higher than statewide unemployment average, and our library doesn't have 62,483 books, 286 e-books, 7,886 audio materials like yours.
You work alone?
Yeah, I work alone.
Really?
Much like the head of its time beauty salon, you're a cut above. I'm working with Dr. Albert Mendez, DDS.
Dr. Albert Mendez, DDS from the Mendez Family Dental? I don't believe it. The only thing illegal he has going on is the criminally low prices of a standard checkup.
You got me. I hate this city. I hate that this is a wonderful place to raise a family, that there were only 3 incidents of arson in 2013. And I hate the Little Balkans Days Town Festival.
That's it. You're an imposter. Say Pittsburgh.
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 Pittsburgh! You're right!
I'm not the incredibly well-respected Dr. Albert Mendez, DDS, but just so you know, this goes all the way to the top.
City Clerk Tammy Nagel?
Yes, it's true. And I can't. I just can't. I've been going along with it, but only because they have a bomb planted at Sweet Designs Cakery.
That's right, and I'm going to detonate it.
As much as I'm compelled to take you down and beat the snot out of you. That's not the Pittsburgh way. No, we shall envelop you with kindness so you can be one of us. And enjoy a city that boasts upwards of 1 Aldi's. Now, say Pittsburgh.
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 Atlanta!
Pittsburgh.
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 By the way, those are all very real businesses and people that we did not ask permission. All right, we'll be back with .com from 30 Rock. Stay with us.
That comedy bit brought to you by Oz Air. Guest booking provided by Gig Salad.
Yep. Welcome back from commercials. Here's another one. We have a great guest sponsor. MissouriTrafficTickets.com. If you get a ticket, just click it. Our guest tonight, he was on 30 Rock. He also does stand-up. He's a great guy, and he came here tonight. Please give it up for Kevin Brown, A.K.A. .com.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, you like my coat? Like my coat?
I do like your coat.
This is the same coat I was wearing on 30 Rock in that scene with the, oh Lord, this is the same. It's the same coat. It's my favorite. This coat is famous.
So, wait, so you're saying that this was a coat you got from a wardrobe and snuck away with it, or they made you wear your own coat?
They made me wear my own coat.
Okay.
No, actually, when the show wrapped, they gave me 7 years of clothes from the show.
No way.
7 years. I literally had to get a whole storage unit because the clothes we wore on 30 Rock, they bought it just for the episode, and we wore it for like 20 minutes.
Right.
And so all the stuff was brand new. So they just, when it was over, they just said, hey, bring a truck and get all the clothes. So I got a lot of clothes, yo.
We all know you from 30 Rock.
Yes.
Like, that's probably your most prominent thing you've done.
Yes.
But what were you doing? You had a career before that. You had this
Yeah,
whole life
I had a
before
career,
that.
but before I tell that,
Yes.
Can I give a shout out to Tina Fey? Can I give a shout out to Tina Fey? Yes, the chick is incredible. The chick is incredible. And I know she's the mentor and inspiration to a lot of females out there. But this is a real hilarious chick. She's crazy funny. She changed my life.
Right.
And I love this woman so much, man. As a matter of fact, when I first met Tina Fey, I tried to get her to blindside me.
Yeah.
Remember the movie Blindside? Y'all remember the movie Blindside? Where the white lady moves the big black dude into the house, trying to teach him how to play football? So I tried to get Tina Fey to blindside me. Now, there was this emotional scene in the movie Blindside, right? If you remember the movie, it was based on a true story about a woman who noticed that a guy who went to the school was homeless. He was sleeping under the bleachers and sleeping in cars and stuff. So she noticed that, and she sort of brought him into the family and moved him in and gave him his new room and new bed and everything. And there was this emotional scene in the movie Blindside. So the white lady, I don't remember her name, she
Sandra Bullock.
Okay,
Her name's Sandra Bullock in the movie, yeah.
So she moves the big black dude, I don't remember his name. So she moves the big black dude into the house, right? So she brings him to the house for the first time. And she says, this is your new room, and this is your new bed. So the big black dude, he starts crying. So the white lady, Sandra Bullock, says, what's wrong? Big black guy, I don't remember his name. So he goes, this is the first one I ever had. And she said, what, a room? And he said, no, a bed. He never had a bed before. So he's crying, and she starts crying, and it's emotional, and they hug, and they bond, right? So I was trying to recreate this scene with Tina Fey, right?
So you're trying to recreate a scene she doesn't know you're trying to recreate.
She doesn't know, but the thing is, I forgot that she has a brilliant comedy mind. She was the head writer on SNL for 6 years, so that you have to, be kind of brilliant. So I'd go up to her from time to time, and I'd just stand next to her and start crying. Tina, this is the first one I ever had. And she looked up at me and she said, what, a job?
I've had jobs.
You know, I had a job before. So anyway, what was your question? I forgot what we were talking about. What were you talking about now?
We were talking about jobs before.
Okay.
It works perfect.
Okay.
But you helped Tracy Morgan get a start, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So a lot of people don't know this story. I used to be, so I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the hood in the Bronx, the projects in the Bronx, right? So if you know your hip-hop history, the projects in the Bronx is where hip-hop started. Like the first DJs will go out in the street and plug into the street lamp with their systems, and hip-hop was created there. So it was right outside my window. I'm from the projects in the Bronx. So I grew up in the hood, right? So I was right there when hip-hop was starting, and I was a rapper and I was an MC. And then it went into being a party promoter. I used to MC at parties. Yeah. I used to be a party promoter. So I did this big concert. I'm a college student. I was 20-something years old. I did this huge rap concert, and I made a lot of money. And one night, I made like $150,000, right? So I'm a college student, and I got all this money. So I'm living like college students do. I'm spending money and, renting cars and seafood restaurants and all this stuff.
Seafood restaurants?
So about 6 weeks later, I did a rap concert, and I lost all my money. 6 weeks later, I'm dead broke, all right? Lost $150,000. I'm 20-something years old. So I'm depressed, laying in bed and, no more seafood. So my brother, who was a budding stand-up comedian, he invited me to a comedy show.
Yeah.
And, but he didn't invite me. He was selling tickets, so I bought a $20 ticket. So now this is a big deal because I just lost all my money. I just lost $150,000, right? So I go to the show, and the host doesn't show up. So the show starts about 45 minutes late. And then he comes to the audience and says, Kev, I need you to host the show. I'm like, dude, I don't know nothing about comedy. But he knew I used to be a rapper. He knew I was good in front of people, and I could rhyme, and I could talk, and I was personable and whatever. So he said, yeah, but none of the comedians want to host, so I need you to host. So I was like, okay, man, I'll host, but you got to give me my $20 back because I just lost $150,000, right? So I went up and I hosted this comedy show, and I had never seen young urban comics in front of a young urban audience before, and it was incredible, right? So I said, let's do this again, except I'll handle the business and you handle creative stuff. So we turned it into this thing called the Uptown Comedy Club. And we used to do these free workshops for the comedians. Yeah. And let me tell you, guys that started at my club who were brand new, Tracy Morgan was one of the guys that started at my club. J.B. Smooth started at my club. Mike Epps started at my club. So I'm doing these New Jack workshops. And Dave Chappelle came to a couple of my workshops in the early days. Jim Brewer came to my workshop. So this was like 25 years ago. You know, we were all babies. And we had no idea that it was even possible to become super successful and big stars from the comedy thing. But Tracy Morgan came to the club, and I was actually his first manager.
Is that right?
Yes, I was his first manager. Yeah, so, you know, and he was always funny. He just made me laugh. You know, he was just a hilarious
He's one of those guys
little
that
fat guy.
can't help but be funny.
Yeah, he was just hilarious, and he just made me laugh, and I just loved this guy.
Yeah.
And then when we ran into each other, well, I'll tell this story. So, so ultimately, like what you're doing here, and you know, we started out with a little show, and ultimately we became nationally syndicated. We were in like 80% of the country, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate being here, and I see the quality that you're doing, and I know this is going to grow to be a big old thing, right? Absolutely.
He said that.
Absolutely,
Tom
man.
said that.
Absolutely. So we ultimately did this show on 125th Street in Harlem, and it became nationally syndicated.
Yeah.
So we were bringing comedians in, flying comedians in from all over the country. And one day, Chris Tucker, who you know from Rush Hour, Chris Tucker missed his flight. So my partners, who were producers, they came to me and said, we need somebody to take Chris Tucker's spot. So there were about 50, 60 comedians running around the room. So I had to find somebody, a fresh face, who I knew could take that spot, not get nervous, and be really funny. So I looked around the room, and I see all these comedians running around. And I see this little fat guy with a propeller hat on. And it was Tracy Morgan. So I called Tracy over, and I say, yo, Trey, man, Chris Tucker, he missed his flight. You know, you think you could do a 7-minute spot for me? Gotta be clean. Yo, Kev, you know. Kev, you know I'm ready for this, man. Just point me where the camera is. And I was like,
That was it. That's a great story.
Yeah.
We have to go, unfortunately.
oh, we gotta take breaks and stuff?
Yes.
You got sponsors?
Yeah, we got sponsors. We'll be back with Kevin Brown doing stand-up.
Guest travel and accommodations provided by Hotel Vandervoort. Musical guests brought to you by Bryan Properties.
Hey, welcome back. Well, we had a great interview, so we thought, man, we might as well have Kevin Brown do some stand-up. So please give it up for Kevin.com Brown.
Thank you, Springfield. Thank you for having me. They gave me 5 quick minutes, and I appreciate it so much. So I'm gonna do right now my tribute to daughters. All the daughters in the house, make some noise. So I have a 21-year-old daughter, right? And yeah, I had her when I was 11, and she did something for the holidays that was a milestone for both of us. So she goes to college in D.C., and I live in New York. So she came to stay with me for the holidays in New York, but she brought her boyfriend with her to introduce her to Daddy. Now, this is a first-time experience for me, right? I'd never been through this type of situation before, and, you know, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to interrogate this guy and put him through the paces, right? So first thing she does is ask what most daughters ask the father when they're introducing the boyfriend. She said, so, Daddy, what do you want him to call you? This is my first mistake. I said, I don't care. So my name is Kevin Brown. He doesn't call me Mr. Brown. He calls me Mr. Kevin. Mr. Kevin. Hey, Mr. Kevin. How you doing, Mr. Kevin? So I know she asked me what should he call me, and I said I don't care, but now that he calls me Mr. Kevin, now I kind of care. Because it sounds so corny, it sounds so cornball. I'm the cool dad. I got both ears pierced. I'm the cool dad, right? So I'm supposed to put this guy through the paces, ask him the questions, make sure he doesn't step out of line with my daughter. So he's just going, Mr. Kevin, how are you, Mr. Kevin? Hey, so as I'm talking to him, come to find out, that his parents are from Africa. So I'm like, wait, hold on. You African? Yeah, Mr. Kevin. Like African? Yeah, Mr. Kevin. Well, why do you sound like that? Like what, Mr. Kevin? Like a freaking cartoon character. What do you mean, like what? When you tell me you're African, you're supposed to come in my house and say, I want to marry your daughter. Right? I am looking for my father to be. Where is my father to be? You come in here with this, Mr. Kevin, and when he says Mr. Kevin, I picture him doing a little dance. Hey, Mr. Kevin. How are you, Mr. Kevin? So I had to go through that experience, right? And I couldn't imagine going through this stuff with a daughter, you know, because I love my daughter. I mean, well, I do now. I love her now. Okay? Because I'll be honest with y'all, since we're so close, I'm gonna share with y'all. I'm one of those fathers, I didn't want a daughter. I wanted a son. I knew I was having a son, right? And I was a little bit disappointed when she came out a girl. All right. Oh, well, I'm gonna be honest. I was a lot disappointed. Like my daughter was like the perfect storm of disappointment. Okay. Remember the movie The Perfect Storm, where 3 huge storms converged at the same point to make the biggest storm ever? Yeah. That's how disappointed I was. I was because when my daughter came out, first of all, it was a girl. I didn't want a girl. And then she was a little baby. I don't make little babies. I make big babies. She was only like 10, 11 pounds or something like that, right? Ladies are like, that's a big baby. What are you talking about? And then when my daughter came out, she was blue. She was blue. I'm not making a word of this. Her skin was blue, y'all. And I wasn't prepared for that. Look at me for a second, y'all. I've been black almost all my life. So when she came out blue, I was like, wait a minute, I ain't taking this little Smurf baby. What's wrong with y'all? What are y'all trying to... I was so disappointed, like I didn't even pick her up for the first 3 days, right? So like, cause I knew I was having a son, you know, I was gonna call him Kevin Jr., that was gonna be his name. And I don't know how many of y'all are old enough to remember this, but about 21 years ago, Shaquille O'Neal was being drafted into the NBA straight out of high school, right? And I remember this because the whole time my daughter was in the oven, I'm calling her Baby Shaq. Yeah, when Baby Shaq comes out, I'm gonna teach him how to play ball, we going to the NBA, we gonna pop bottles, yeah. And it was a girl, right? So I'm disappointed, so I didn't even pick her up. All I did was do the thing where you stick your finger in the baby's hand, see if the baby grab your finger. So the head nurse noticed I wasn't grabbing, picking up my daughter. So after about 3 days, the head nurse got mad. Head nurse says, Mr. Brown, this is your baby. You have to take her here. So I'm holding this thing and my hands are trembling, right? I'm all nervous. I don't want to drop her. I don't want to break her. Then the head nurse said, Mr. Brown, say something. So I looked at her and I said, hi. And she was familiar with my voice because I was calling her Baby Shaq the whole time, right? She looked into my eyes and she put on the biggest smile, and I swear, it was like she snatched my heart out my chest, man. And I was in love with this little thing ever since. But it took 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. My name's Kevin Brown. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, man.
That's our show. 10% of our box office proceeds go to Lost and Found. This guy's great. We did it.
Big Whiskey is the official caterer of the Mystery Hour.